Hey guys, welcome back to the Bosch blog, your go-to place for bullet journaling, books, and beyond. I'm Brittany, and today we are working on my June bullet journal spreads. I was super excited for this month because we are going back into a bee theme for the month of June, and I thought it turned out really well. So before we get too far into everything, make sure you like this video if you liked it and subscribe so you don't miss any additional videos coming up. First up here on the bullet journal spreads is my cover page. We have a little free-handed beehive. It's a little wonky, but I think it turned out pretty okay. And then I went with some what I call faux calligraphy, where you like draw out the word in cursive and then you thicken your downward strokes just like they do with calligraphy. Next up, we are adding some busy, buzzing bees to our cover page, and I kind of map everything out with a pencil first and then I'll go over it with a pen. I find a lot of people get very discouraged with their bullet journaling because they're afraid to make a mistake. I'm one of them. So I have learned after 8 years, if not more, of doing this, that it's better for me to outline everything and like sketch it out with a pencil and then go over it with the permanent ink. Speaking of ink, everything I'm using in this spread will be linked in the description below. So if you're like, wow, I really need that, you can pick it up down there. Now you'll see I am erasing my pencil marks and then going through here, and we're coloring in our bees with a soft yellow Tombow marker, dual tip brush pen. I'm terrible. I would be like the worst spokesperson. But anyway, we're gonna add some stripes because they are bees after all, and I have this like soft grayish purplish gray for some wings. And then we're gonna outline everything, because another pro tip, if you haven't been around, you know you should always use your marker or highlighter first and then use your fine liner or your pen. That way it avoids smearing your pen. Next up, we have our calendar spread, and I actually created this stencil a while ago to do these honeycombs because like I'm okay at sketching, but like this would have been terrible to do freehand, like for sure. So we are going through with the stencil, and then I'm making sure I counted correctly, even though I did to begin with, but I was just like making sure. And then next up, we are going to, like I said, use your pen, your marker or highlighter first, and then we're going to write over it with our pen for the days of the week. Every time I say days of the week, it reminds me of that song that my daughter sang in kindergarten to like the Addams Family theme song. If you know, you know. It's pretty good. And if you don't know, look it up, because it's it's like an earworm. It'll get stuck in your head. So we're adding our busy, buzzing bees again. Like for real though, I'm not like terrified of bees in real life. So like, is anybody else like terrified of bees in real life? Because I for sure am. And I don't know that I've officially ever been stung before. I think I got stung by a sweat bee before, and that was like excruciating. So now I'm even more terrified of ever getting stung by a bee. But these guys are not stingers. They're like stinger free. So we're just adding those in. And then apparently I got bored with the bees and went to the June title. And then I should have just left it as it was because I kind of like the thin line, but then I was like, oh, let's make it thicker and make it bolder. And after I did this, I didn't really like, you can see me like going through it. I'm kind of like, I don't really like this. But you know, we got to get it done. So we just followed through. And it doesn't look terrible, but I think I preferred it with the thinner font, we'll say. So here we go, filling in our bees with our soft yellow, maybe. And then we're going to add our black. Oh, wait, we're adding the wings first. And then we'll add the other details. So we're doing the fine liner over those and adding our stripes again. And like literally guys, the best thing about your journal is that you can like make it your own. So I kind of like, I go through Pinterest every month. Like my process is, and it's about like middle of the month before, I go through Pinterest. Like I already know my theme, and then I go through Pinterest and I start planning out like what spreads I like that other people have done, and if that's functional for me, because it's a big thing for it to be functional. I mean, it's great that it's pretty, but it also has to be functional. And then I just create my own based off of other people's. So now here, this kind of looks a little weird. You're probably like, why are you highlighting random days? So I went through and I wanted to make this like a little bit different. So I highlighted important days, or like days we had something going on. And then you'll see like I'll outline some days that might be kind of important too. So like Sunday the 1st, I had a meeting, and so I highlighted that, and I'm sure something was happening on Friday the 6th that I can't remember now, and I just highlighted it. So like the end of the month, the 23rd through the 26th, we have Vacation Bible School that we're volunteering at, so I made those into that yellow. And then we're moving on to my mood tracker. This was another one. I kept the words, like the font, really simple, and then I pulled out my stencil again because I was like, how cool would it be if each day is a honeycomb and then I color in the honeycomb based off of my mood for the day. So that's what we did. And I did sketch this out with a pencil to begin with, and then I just went over it with the stencil to continue it. Like you can kind of see right there the pencil marks. And despite me doing it with a pencil, I still made a mistake. See those two at the very bottom? Yeah, there's not 32 days in June. There's not even 31 days in June. There's only 30. So I went back with a whiteout pen and took those out. So see, I'm like, oh my gosh, and you can see the white out there. So next, speaking of 30 days in June, my calendar stamps have 31 days. So my like trick is I stamp the whole thing into the ink pad, and then I rub off that very last one, and then you don't have it. Like sometimes I like totally made a mess of this from rubbing it off. You can see my fingerprints on here. So it's like a crime scene with my fingerprints all over my journal. And that one I forgot to apparently rub that off. I don't know. By this time I was like, I'm done. So we got all of our calendars in here. There's me with the whiteout pen going in it again. And then I thought, like, sometimes these spreads are super boring, so I wanted to add some interest and some color. So I just outlined, or almost like shadowed, one side of each of the calendars with the yellow Tombow pen marker, whatever we want to call it, and it gave it a little bit of additional interest. And then we're gonna write in our title, and I'm like, why do I always write habit tracker? Like, let's just go habits, yo. So here you see my like cheat sheet where I have my dates and what I want to track and whatnot. So we have 9 habits we're tracking, and that's about it. But thanks guys for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next month. Bye.